about this trend, this sort of geo-targeted focus, something that I see that you've been doing, focusing around a lakefront community, and I think that's pretty unique because a lot of people they try to do a lot of different things when they're doing video. They kind of get scattered sometimes. So maybe, you can talk to about why you chose to focus on this lakefront community, and really just walk us through that, how that all started, how it evolved, and so forth.
Yeah, when I first started in residential side of real estate, I did have to choose a focus, and I found out that even though we're in a rural area in Alabama, and there's a couple of smaller cities around us like Montgomery, I really found that if I spread myself too thin, I couldn't be effective at marketing any of those places. So that's why I chose to really focus in on and be maybe an inch wide and a mile deep, if you will, instead of the other dimension,
Yeah.
and kind of spread thin. And I found that it makes the marketing a lot more real because I'm able to get into a lot of the detail of people that if they're wanting to move to our area or most often buy a second home in our area, I'm able to give them a lot more detail by narrowing my focus.
So, were you familiar with the video camera before you got into real estate? Did you do anything? No, you didn't. So tell us
Not
how.
at all. I mean, I had
Yeah,
video cameras that I film my kids' first steps on, stuff like that. I don't know where those are anymore. So I didn't.
I
But I
think I'm in the
didn't really
same
get
boat
into
too.
doing. Yeah, yeah. I mean, don't tell my wife. I don't know where they are, but I didn't really get into doing video heavily until really my second or third year into real estate. And the light went on. It was at one of those tech conferences where I met you, and I thought, why am I not doing this? It was maybe '07 is when I started blogging, and so I guess '08 was when I really started doing a lot of it.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, talk to us about specifically the types of videos that you do around Lake Martin. You can break them down to the different types, and then maybe give us some feedback as to how consumers sort of embrace them. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do general categories. Of course, listing videos
Hmm.
are number one, and do a lot of. But I group those into home tours because I also do tours of other houses that other people have listed. I do neighborhood tours. Those are obviously just going through a neighborhood by land and by boat. And then I do what I call community info videos, where it's just it's about the area, but it's not focused on a neighborhood.
Hmm.
And then a fourth type that I do that's been equally as effective for business-wise has been my client testimonials. And that's just when my buyers or sellers are on camera. They're talking about the process, not so much about me and how great I am, although I don't edit it out if they say I'm a nice guy. I leave
Of
that in there.
course.
But really, I try to let them answer questions about the buying or selling process. But feedback-wise, the listing videos were the first ones that I got real big feedback from. Just because, obviously I'm preaching to the choir here with you, but there's just no comparison to having a full video. Because people want to know, how do you get to the lake? How do you get to the kitchen from the master bedroom? Those kind of questions you can't answer with camera, with a still camera, that is.
Yep.
And so that started that. And then people started asking me questions. Really, it was really, I can't stress enough, it's been kind of consumer driven about what I do, because people would ask me, okay, well, I see what the house looks like, but where's the nearest marina? And I would say, well, that's, Real Island Marina. And they're like, what does that look like? So I'd go and I'd film Real Island Marina. And so I realized people were asking a lot of the same questions. What do the neighborhoods look like? How does it look like when you drive up from the street? The more questions I got like that, the easier it is to answer by video. And really, it's a huge time saver for me because I'm answering that question one time. If I go and shoot a neighborhood and I do that neighborhood really well, it takes me a long time to do it, shooting and editing, but I've done it one time. And every time I can send somebody that link, and anytime I'm talking about that neighborhood with somebody else, I
Yep.
can send it to them. So I've done
Yeah.
the bulk of that work. So that's huge.
That's awesome. I mean, to take that feedback and actually turn it around into something that not only you can share via a link, but they can then share it to their sphere of influence, in case they had friends that were looking as well.
Yeah.
And I know, I mean, that is a tactic that a lot of bloggers have done over the years. They've taken their buyer and their seller and their renter questions and they've written blog posts about it. But you've turned on its head and you said, you know what, I'm going to go a step further and I'm going to answer you via video or show you via video, which I think is awesome. And I hope some folks that are watching this, can really learn something from that, because it's some of the lowest hanging fruit that's out there. The basic questions that
Yeah.
folks have, answer them via video.